Hey everyone. Um, Tonight I'm going to talk about some history. Some of the kids today, um, not really interesting in history, and it's just sad that one day that the kids need a teacher come along and ask, "What about our American history?" It's kind of sad that the our kids just with our technology today, it's just veering off from where how we learn in school about our American history, and it seems like they're getting kind of lost at this point. Too much technology and not enough learning our history. So here's some of the history I'm going to talk about, and hopefully the kids out there would understand of more how we became the United States um, over the years. Now, when studying, the largest transforming in the 1800s was the United States of America, of course, us. Just a quick look at some of the events occurring during the century makes you realize how different America was at the start compared to the end of the century. Now, one, America evolves after the American Revolution, which gained independence from British from 1775 to 1783. Now, the purchase of Louisiana was bought back in 1804, but we bought that from Napoleon. Napoleon used to have that huge property all the way up here to Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, part area. He owned all that. We gave him, but we bought it back from him. Now, Texas joining the Union in 1845. American Civil War, of course, we know 1861 to 65, and the Indian Wars ran over 200 years, ending in 1890. Now, the statehood that created of the most of the states that existed today, 28 states were created back then. Now, American Old West settlers. We should also remember some of the best known military leaders that attended almost starred quality in their countries. For example, Nelson and the Duke of Wellington, author in British and France, under which watchful eye the Queen Victoria. But at the end of 1800s, the British Empire controlled nearly a quarter of the world's population at that time. The invention of the first use of technology from 1800 is also integrated in our lives today. It's steam locomotives and the battery, the photography, sewing machines, personalizations, dynamite telephones, the first vertical car combustion, and Coca-Cola was just a few examples. Now, Louisiana Purchase, shaping the United States. Following the end of the American Revolution, the United States purchased the French claim to the territory of Louisiana in 1803. Now, the territory was larger than just the present-day states of Louisiana. It includes Arkansas, Mexico, Missouri, Iowa, Ohio, Kansas, Nebraska, and plus parts of other Missouri and North Dakota and South Dakota and New Mexico, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Louisiana. Total of 828,800 square miles for a total of $15 million. At the time, that was double the size of the United States, but it was about a quarter of the country today. Now, Texas joined the independence in 1836. After the Texas Revolution from the Mexican-led Sam Houston, it was admitted to the Union on the 28th as the 28th state in 1845, become the largest state in the Union at the time. Alaska was is larger in the area, but at the time in that era they were calling Texas its own country because it was bigger
and popular it got after fighting the Mexican War. Now, Alaska purchased from Russia in 1867. Now, the northwestern tip of North American continent was purchased from Russian Empire by America in 1867. It was 586,412 square feet and cost $7.2 million, which meant the United States was paying roughly 2 cents per acre of land. Now, California and New Mexico became a part of the United States following the defeat of the Mexican in Mexico in the Mexican-American War in 1846 to 1848. Mexico sold California and New Mexico to the United States for $15 million. Now, people today think $15 million was a drop in the bucket. Now, since we're in trillions of dollars now, but following at the end of the American Revolutionary War, 16 states were created prior to 1800 during the next 100 years, and further, let me get back up here. Computer's acting up again. There were a lot of states were being purchased at the time of gaining more momentum for the United States. Now, 29 would be created beginning the total of 45 to 45. Now, Delaware was started in 1787, Pennsylvania 1787, New Jersey 1787, Georgia 1788, Connecticut 1788, Massachusetts 1788, Maryland 1788. Computer's going haywire here. But there were a few more growing, but mostly at the end we became one nation. But there was a lot of learning from us, from people from different countries at the time. So it's like Maryland 1888 was around, South Carolina 1788, South Carolina 1788, New Hampshire 1788, Virginia 1788, New York 1788, New Jersey, can't talk, sorry. North Carolina 1789, Rhode Island 1790, now Vermont 1791, and Kentucky 1792, Tennessee 1796, so on. But it's kind of be fun and learning. Kids today is not understanding what they think history is just boring, but if when they grow up and their kids ask them, what? How did our country became? How did it all started? And you asking yourself, well, this is how it was, how we got started. But all in all, it's just, I like history, and people will ask me, I had a lot of my friends ask me, come up and say, you know this history? I just study history. I was a history teacher. I probably wouldn't be able to get the grades right for them. I'll probably give them all A pluses and stuff. But, and then just selling the American Old West. Now, out west was just starting too. Now, just over 200 years ago, certainly after Louisiana Purchase, the Lewis and Clark expedition, 1804 to 1806, set out to discover new resources now available to the West Coast. Americans, now following the end of the Civil War and forcing Native Americans to relocate to reservations, tens of thousands of settlers set out to seek fame and fortune in the West, traveling to California for weeks, months, and through hostile environments to settle vast areas of that country. Now, the Indian War date back to the time of the Furs. After the end of the American Revolution, the British succeeded in a vast amount of Native Americans' territory. The United States War became the most focused. Many Native American tribes had sided with the British and combined with their needs for more land, discovery of gold. That's why they went out to California. Out west, people were finding gold. That's why. Now, in 1830, Andrew Jackson signed Indian removal. This forced them to relocate to other areas of the United States did not consider desirable. Some of the worst fighting during the Colorado, Oregon, and Utah. And the tribes who did survive ending up in 310 Indian reservations, often arid area unsuitable agriculture for the United States, but there were originally over 500 Native American tribes at the time. But it's just some of these like this, Lewis and Clark, the Indian War. I know they learn about the Civil War. Some they ask about the Civil War. Now, it's just hard to imagine our agricultural revolution at the time. Now, in the 1800s, to provide an intervention to improve farm machinery. Now, to change farming from an extremely labor-intense industrial to technology-driven. Back then, we didn't have no tractors, gasoline tractors, and all that. They had a plow by horse. I'm looking back from that's all they had, and that was their technology. How much they worked from 4 o'clock in the morning to 8 or 9 o'clock at night to keep their crops growing and keep them and then harvest them. Now, the ultraviolet radiation discovery was born in 1801 by German Johanna Ritter. Now, first electric light, 1809, written by Humphrey Davy. Now, first steam locomotive, 1840, England, by George Stephenson. The photography, 1814, French, by Joseph. Let me go back down here. My computer moved on me. Let's see here. Joseph Napai. I'm trying to say it. I can't say it, but. And then Macintosh waterproof rain jacket. 1823, Scotland, by Charles Macintosh. I'm probably said that. Now, the first typewriter, 1829, was by us, the United States, by W.A. Burt. Now, printing press, I think it was, 1829, French, by French, Louis Braille. Sewing machine, 1830, French, Bartholomew Thurmer. And another sewing machine, 1851, by United States Isaac Singer. Not inventor, but he added an improvement that made the machine such more usable. Now, mechanical calculator, 1835, England, by Charles Babbage. The revolver, by Sam Colt. Colt receiver. gun 1836. Now, Morse code 1838 by the United States, Samuel Morse. Rubber, Wilkinson, 1839, United States, Charles Goodyear. The tires. He made tires. Now, privatization, 1856 by French Louis Pasteur. Now, safety pin, 1849, United States, Walter Hunt. Now, the machine gun, 1861 by Richard Gatlin. Everybody knows about the Gatling gun. You crank, you can shoot. That's who invented the Gatling gun. Dynamite, 1866, Sweden by Alfred Nobel. Telephone, 1876, Scotland by Alexander Graham Bell. Photography, film, 1884, United States, George Eastman. Car with an internal combustion, 1885, by Carl Benz. Coca-Cola, 1886, by United States, John Pemberton. Contact lenses, 1887, German, F.E. Muller and Alf Flick. Hermetic tire, another wrote tires, 1886, 1880, United States by John Bird Dunlop. Now the zipper, we know what the zippers, 1893, United States by W.L. Judson, trying to say. But kids need to learn history, and hopefully do. So that's about it, and I'll talk to you later again. Bye now.